Hello and welcome back to the finish line. I'm your host, Andrew Halligan. I'm joined as always by Dave and Tom. So we are here for what's going to be a cracking weekend of racing. We have the English St. Leger going at Doncaster, and we have the Irish Champions Weekend from the Curragh and Leopardstown. So we're going to preview a load of the races from it, give our picks, give our analysis of more or less every race that we have up. But we need to get to important matters before this. The Princess done it again, lads. The dream is still alive. We had a comment already before we started. Forget about the Champions Weekend. Let's have an hour about Princess Zoe. Oh, if we could, we would. But yesterday she took another step up and win the listed race at Galway. So impressively. What do you think, lads? I thought that was to go wide around Galway on deep ground, to win, going away with her ears pick, getting two little smacks of the whip, beating a good field that's probably better than listed class.
Look, she's
I'm on the wine as well. It's been a long day.
And I have Guinness. Tom, I don't know if you have had in there, but you should get some.
It's been a long day, lads.
Andrew's very, very stressed here, man. Tom, don't ever have kids. That's all
busy. I was going to say, busy in work.
Oh, God.
Between work, kids.
But, he's very stressed. But she's just travelled so well. She keeps taking step up in her stride. She's grey, so she was...
You were sold the second she seemed she was grey.
The day she won at the Curragh in the Ladies' Derby, the way she travelled that day, you knew she was way better than the race she was in, but to end up being, like Tom, you said yesterday, she'll probably end up being a 110 kind of rated flat horse. And to see that over hurdles is going to be something special, because one of the lads said in the group, she could probably kick the hurdles out of the ground or jump them like Goshen and she'll still win the mayor's hurdle. And realistically, if she jumps the hurdles and holds that form that she's shown on the flat, she'll win the mayor's hurdle. And shout out to Robbie for actually finding that bet, because a lot of people, I'm not on Twitter, but a lot of people are actually putting up the podcast here for putting her up at pretty decent prices. I think anyone in the podcast group or ourselves have some of the best prices. Maybe I'm sure the owner, Tony Mullins, has.
See, I'm not the only on Tony Martin.
Better prices than us, but
even at that day, she was never bigger than 66s. So we've got a lot of the lads have got 66s and 50s, and that's as good as she was. So we're on at the best prices. And as I say, I'd put her up on a couple of our flat races. But shout out to Robbie, as you say, like if I would never have thought of it, as I said before. So kudos to him.
We were only George in the group was asking everyone how much we had on. We all added up how much we're all in for. With all of us in together, I think it's about 13 grand if she wins. We're all getting between all of us, all our best put together. Like that's not even including doubles and accumulator.
I can happily add in a bit to that as well. So
she's
it's madness. Like
the thing about her as well, some of the flat horses that go jumping, they can be small and a bit soft, really. I would consider jumps horses to be a good bit tougher. But she's built like a jumps horse. Now, she's big and burly and a bit of a bully, to be honest, on the flat.
She just looks so superior. She looks class. Just on her whole persona, the way she goes about her business. She stands out a mile. Like, she ran around Galway and you could barely see that yesterday, but you could see her a mile away. The way she was traveling and everything. Like the last time we seen a horse that good on the flat, like winning listed, was Hurricane Fly.
Yeah.
He wouldn't list the race on the flat as a 3-year-old.
Well, the other one I was going to throw in there was the one that we went wild about and was very good until he unfortunately got hurt, was Sir Eric.
Yeah.
Sir Eric was rated 109 on the flat when he went jumping. She's going to be rated every bit 109 now, I reckon. So, you know, if she was at Geldon, we'd all be saying, wow, or, you know, imagine what this is going to do in the Triumph or whatever. This thing's going for a mare's novice hurdle, like, you know. And I said it before about like she's by the right sire to go jumping as well. Now I know these stats aren't quite correct because he's had a lot more runs in France on the racing post, but of the horses on the racing post site, he's had 8 winners from 13 runners over jumps, 62% strike rate of runners to winners, and then 59 of those 13, 59 runners. 59 runs, 16 wins, 27% strike rate. Farclas, Tiger Tap, Carl de Grosse, the other Willie Mullins horse. You know, like he does very well with his jumpers, Jukebox Jury. So it's all ticking the right boxes.
She's quite like him. Like he was actually quite tough and a big burly horse as well. Typical Mark Johnston, tough as nails, kind of never say die attitude. She's quite like him, but she's a bit of speed to her as well, which that's what really is.
What's caught me is she just switches off. You can put her anywhere. She got upset in stalls before the race yesterday, and it didn't affect her in any way whatsoever. Like Joey Sheridan just knew he was on the best horse, just kept her out of the way of everything. Round the bend, went out wide, off he went. The race was over, but by the time they hit the stretch,
when he gave her this couple of smacks of the whip, he put it down and tried to give her actually an easy enough race. Then he left her just coast to the end.
And shout out to the connections for actually leaving Joey on because he couldn't claim his £5 claim yesterday because it was a listed race. So fair play to him for doing that. He wouldn't have a lot of experience in group and listed races, but they left him on her. Like she didn't, as you said, Dave, she didn't get the easiest run around at all. She was too wide the whole way. She hit the front on the home bend, which is far from ideal. She's just done it really, really well. And I'd love to actually see her in the Prix de Cadran now, the Group 1.
That's the plan.
I think you go close to winning it.
Galway is not the best track in the whole world. It's just kind of geared around the festival. But you go a hell of a long way if you watch Galway to win, to see a horse go around the outside and win as easy as she did yesterday, because it doesn't happen around Galway.
Like for the size of her, you wouldn't really think it's her cup of tea track, like. But then she's big. Like she's done on a tight track like that, and she absolutely sluiced up on a ridiculous mark at the Curragh. She can do it on any track. Like the only problem, she has to jump a hurdle first.
Yeah,
she has to be able to jump a hurdle. If she can get from A to B over a hurdle, there's like people would probably think we're talking to her like she's bloody Hurricane Fly or Istabrack. But the way we see it, she's a mare going in the mare's hurdle.
Yeah,
she's this good on the flat. If she transforms that to hurdles, she may as well just give her to her now.
Tom basically said it. Like, it's no disrespect to the mares, and it's good to have a mares program. But she's so good, and the key is it's a mare's hurdle. There ain't any power in that mare's hurdle. We know what's there basically. What's going to come out from the bumper last year, the Queensbrook. You have Gypsy Island maybe if she comes back. She is streets ahead of them.
Yeah, like she should be. Like Gypsy Island, as I've always said, I've nothing against her, but she's had her injury issues. Like, would I be backing Princess Zoe now at 5-1? No, I wouldn't be. At wild prices, it was a different story. But my one worry about her is...
It's always a worry.
And this is... Without trying to be a negative Nelly now here, right? She's very crooked in front. By all, like we've heard Tony Mullins say, if I saw her before I bought her, I wouldn't have bought her. And that, for people who don't know, the reason why you wouldn't buy a horse like that is it brings soundness issues. Now, she has run a heap of times. Like, I should drag it up there, really. She's run an absolute heap of times. I'm sure all of her German form, 20 times according to Racing Post. I'm sure all of her German form isn't on the Racing Post side. Look, she hasn't had any soundness issues yet. Jumping a hurdle could bring different problems. That's my only concern. She's got all the ability in the world. She goes on any ground as far as I can see. The fact that she's crooked and could bring soundness issues is my only worry about her going into the winter.
Why?
Because I've seen enough horses that have got lots of ability, but they're crooked. and they just don't stay sound. I hope she's.
I know he's good at football.
I hope she's not like that.
Your hair back again, then her getting injured. Now stop the pessimism.
No, that's what I'm saying. That's the only way.
I don't want to listen to this shit.
But if you ask Tony Mullins about it, right? Tony Mullins said yesterday in his interview straight after the race, he said, "Oh, I was just so happy when I saw her pulling up and she was sound." It's in the back of his head as well, I'm telling you.
Oh, it's because he knows it's the best horse he might ever get. That's why.
Yeah, but if you don't normally have to worry about a horse pulling up sound.
I just can't. Tom, you're the most pessimistic man ever. We were on the podcast a few months ago after Love won the Oaks, and your whole entire fucking wedding fund was going on Love for the Ark. A week later. Not anymore. No way. Eustace.
Lad, I've got a runner. I'm like that though. But everybody does it. The closer you get to the day, you'll ring up from a sales point of view, you'll ring up to buy a horse and you'll ask somebody, how much do you want for it? And you could ring them up a month before the sale and they'll say, oh, I want 50 grand for this lad. And you'll think that's a bit steep. You'll get to the sale. You'll see them 3 days before the horse sells and you'll say, how much? Oh, 50 grand. Yeah. You'll see them an hour before the sale and they'll come up and say to you, a little bit less for that lad. Because it's just as you get closer, you just naturally get a bit more worried. I have a runner in France tomorrow. And all the way along, he's, oh, this lad will win, this lad will win, this lad will win. He's running tomorrow, and I'm like, right, so if we came fourth, like, that'd be okay.
Oh, God.
I'm just pessimistic. I'm an accountant. What can I say? It's me.
Start training your mind, Tom. I was already talking to Andrew. Look up David Goggins. Do you know who David Goggins is?
No.
That's what you look up tonight now. David Goggins.
He's motivational speaker.
That's motivational for you now.
Okay.
Your horse will win tomorrow then.
I hope he does.
Right. I need to get a bit of business out of the way. Right. So, as you know, we are in partners with Betopin.com. So, from this weekend, we will be starting the finish line. We're starting our email tips on the weekend. So, myself, Dave, Tom didn't give me a straight answer yet, so I don't know.
I did. I said I wanted paying.
What?
He said he wanted money for it.
Well, ask your bloody boss then.
Yeah, I'll throw a few tips in there. Don't worry.
Yeah, we'll be giving tips for Saturday and Sunday each weekend, and then the big festivals that are on midweek and throughout. So you go to betopin.com/betting tips. You will see a sign-up bar at the bottom. It's big. You won't be able to miss it. It has Betopin and finish line logo next to it. You'll put in your email. You'll click subscribe. The email will then go to your spam. So just go into that and click register, and then just move it to your inbox. So from then on, all the emails that come from me, I'll send them all out, will go into your inbox every Friday evening. So this is starting from this weekend. So go on to betopin.com/betting tips, sign up, go into your spam, click register, and just move it into your inbox so you won't miss out on it. So you'll be able to take the absolute piss out of us when all our horses lose every weekend.
It looks like we're sponsored by Under Armour.
Don't it? We look well.
Men in Black, eh?
Yeah.
Craig has a good question there if you want to throw it up before we move on.
2 seconds. I find it. Where am I? Craig.
Just up to the top of the page there.
Brian.
Yeah.
Would you be more confident in Zoe jumping a hurdle or Envoy Ample jumping the fence? Envoy Allen will he'll hit the fence and he'll still win. He'll jump a fence. He's an absolute machine. He'll jump a house if he needed to. No worries whatsoever about him jumping the ollie.
I think naturally it's obviously Envoy Allen jumping a fence. He's won a point to point and he jumped pretty well when he did that, and he's jumped the hurdle well. Zoe hasn't left the ground yet, but I'm not too concerned.
You've missed this over the last few weeks, but a certain two people keep going back on all the videos that we done and ripping the piss out of our selections for Cheltenham over the past few years. Kubo and Robbie to be the certain two people. And I'm getting absolutely destroyed for saying Envoy Allen is the 3 mile plotter. Right? And I apologise and said I was wrong. But I tell you, in the last 3 or 4 days, when there's people are getting a little bit worried, he's going for the RSA. So he might be a 3 mile plotter after all.
He's not going RSA. He's not going
There's some in the group. There's some real negativity about their bets for the Marsh Chase.
He won't go for the RSA, lads.
Go for the Marsh. You go the same way Sam Crow went.
Yeah, they won't want to bottom him in a 3 mile novice chase.
No way.
No. So to answer the question, Envy Allen has already jumped the fence in his point career, so he can do it. But I've every confidence so he'll be able to do it as well.
I'm also getting real stick over this as well.
Dave, yeah, to be fair, Dave, I didn't mind that. I liked that angle that he'd show his best form at Cheltenham.
Yeah, he didn't know, Tom, to be honest.
No, he didn't.
Right, we get into what we're actually here for. So we are going to start off with the Doncaster State Leisure. Group 1 over 1 mile 6.5 furlongs. So I've been looking over this, literally about an hour ago. And I am very, very, very highly interested in Galileo Chrome if he comes over. We have Pyledrive, who obviously is the standout. Sorry, 1 second. I had to give me child tablets. There you go. Right. So obviously you have
Andrew, all I can see is you being on one of these, and we'll go viral for you doing one of the like the BBC one where he's like slides back on his chair, hitting the kid like this.
It's going to happen one of these days or something.
Andrew's like, woof.
He makes me sit beside the door because he knows I won't do it. And I just go, okay.
You just need a bowl of sweets there, Dave, every time he comes in.
Something around. All right, back to this. Right, so we obviously have Pyledrive, who, if you think, like people are farm people, think he's the standout after what he done last time in the Great Vulture. But I got my fingers burnt already this season with a horse on pedigree doesn't stay with Chemical. And it's kind of saying the same thing about Pyledrive. And then what I also took into account is I don't want to look at any horse that has form, Mogul, Highland Chief and Berkshire Rocco. I don't like it at all, whatsoever. So on that basic alone, I'm going to take him on straight away. I was all over Santini.
Santiago.
Oh, Santini.
Santini is slow.
Sorry, Robbie. He's slow too, so it's all the same.
If he's a flat horse, he'd be in the same ledger as well.
I was all over Santiago until he ran against Stradivarius the last time. And then I look, because it looked to me like he was crying out that he was going too far over 2 miles. It even looked at just before the three furlong pole that he was starting to feel it. And it wasn't a great feel. He tried to keep Stradivarius in until Stradivarius absolutely blew him away. But then you go back to his Irish Derby win. When you look back at it, it wasn't that good, was it? He beat Tigermouth a neck or a head. Where he looked like he was only holding on. So the more I look at it, the more I'm thinking he's not as good as I thought he is. And then you have Hookham, who I just can't take him.
I hate him.
I just can't hate him.
For no apparent reason.
It's not that. I don't hate him at all.
I know you hate him.
When I watched his race again this afternoon.
Do you know what he said to me?
Good, you're dying, thank God.
I'm getting COVID thinking of this. Do you know what he said to me last week, Tom?
What did I say?
He was abusing Hookham in the group, and James Cotter loves his anti-post bets, and he's all over Hookham now with weeks. And he said, I
can't remember this stuff.
He was having words back and forth, and he goes, James kept saying about this horse Hookham earlier, about for the same ledger, and I just don't agree with him. To be honest, Dave, I've never even seen the horse race. I've never even seen the horse race. That's what he said.
Do you know what was? I seen this last.
I knew it. Right? I row with you half the time. I'm like, he hasn't even watched this, has he? Just get out of it.
I was sitting here last Saturday. I was chuckling with the laugh.
I actually say to you, have you watched the race?
No,
like, yeah.
I seen this last half furlong. I was like, I'm so good about that. And then I went back and watched it. I watched it again today, and I was thinking then, yeah, that was shit. There's still nothing good about that.
It's so funny when you said that.
I didn't think it was that spectacular at all.
I full on row with James. He didn't even know what you were talking about.
Did you see the race, Andrew? I'll be honest with it. I'm gone now. But yeah, I can't have him either. But I can't have Galileo Chrome. To me, this is the St. Leisure winner. He's just a big brute of a horse. The start of the season, he started off from over 1 mile 2. He won his first 2 races. Then he stepped up to 1 mile 5 at Navan, which is notoriously stiff finish. And he absolutely cruised through the race. And the second he hit the furlong and a half, he was gone. Went away by 5 lengths, eased down at the line. For Joseph O'Brien to send him over when he was entered for the Irish one, which would have been way easier for him. A 6-1 is a great price for me. He goes on good ground. He goes on good form. He goes on good stuff. Whatever the ground is, he'll go on it. It's going to be run like the Clappers with Subjective in the front. So he's going to have something to aim at, and I think he's going to absolutely power home. He is my nap of the week already.
Yeah, good for you.
That was sarcastic.
No one.
Yeah, that's me. That's my whole. I think Subjective is overpriced as well if you take into consideration that Subjective was only a length behind him at Royal Ascot. He's 16-1 or something like that, and Hook in the Streets. He's the typical Johnson horse that is just improving. He bolted up in last time a good with 15 lengths, but you question what he beats, but he's in the form of his life, and anyone fancying each way about 16-1 Subjective won't put you off. But Galileo Chrome win.
I may add, I put up Galileo Chrome after Serpentine won the Derby.
He did.
Because he
Can I stop for a minute?
He won the main.
Right.
What's going on here?
This way. Go away then. Who cares? Oh yeah, how did that Tis Love
how
did
Tis
Love go?
I knew I had something to say.
How did that go?
How did all those fake bets go?
It's not against you, Tom. Tom had no one. Sorry, Tom. We don't like him.
Tom don't even talk to Wayne because Wayne's a fool.
Yeah.
But anyway.
Back to the Doncaster.
It comes down to 3 horses. Hookham has a good chance. He'll stay, and that usually is the key to winning the St. Leger. It's not a speed horse.
I love the way when you start talking about race, you break really down.
I really like Pyledrive. I really like Pyledrive, but he's too fast. He reminds me of Rewilding, a Godolphin horse a couple of years ago that actually had a fatal injury while racing. Really good horse. He won the same race that Pyledriver won, and then just bombed out in the Leger. It's not a speed race, and he won that race at York because he's faster than all those fat yaks that were in behind him.
Jesus.
Morgan and all the rest of them.
It's true.
It's going to come down to Hookham or Galileo Chrome, I think. Year after year, it comes down to the stairs. It doesn't come down to the flashiest horse. Pyledriver next year will probably end up being the best horse of all of them, ratings-wise, but as much as I like him, I just don't think he'll stay, and I think he's too fast. Yeah. So I will stick with Galileo Chrome as well. Yeah,
I think the extra 2 furlongs is going to be Pyledriver's undoing. Tom.
Yeah, I see what you mean. Like he's by Harbour Watch, obviously, so you wouldn't think he'd stay. But then his dam was like a jumper, and a crap jumper at that. He's just a random horse on pedigree. Like they couldn't get rid of him at the sales. Yeah, I don't know. I do like him. If I was them, I'd have given the Arc a go. I can see why they're coming here. It's obviously the easier option, but I'd have fancied a crack at the Arc if I owned him.
Did you see the interview that who writes him? Martin Dwyer, no?
Yeah,
Martin Dwyer gave about that. He was actually saying the reason they didn't go to the Arc is why would you go against Enable, Love, and all them and Ghaiyyath at this time as his career, where you've only 1 crack at a St. Leger, where you're going to have 2 or 3 cracks at it.
See, I get that as well, and I know I see what Tom is saying and that, but the St. Leger is just a different type of race. That extra 2 furlongs is key to horses, and some horses just don't stay it. He could be still on the bridle, and as soon as he get pushed along, then he's gone because he don't stay the extra 2 furlongs. And I get what they mean, like winning a classic and all that. But I actually think he would have done well in the Arc as well. I agree with Tom.
I agree with Tom as well. I would have run in the Arc.
Look, I can completely see why they're coming here. It's by far the easier option. I love the Arc as a race, and if I ever had a horse that was anywhere near good enough to run there, I'd definitely go for it. But I'm not completely convinced he won't stay. But at the same time, I'm not willing to bet on it that he will at 5-2, 11-4. Santiago for me is maybe the one. He was very impressive at Ascot, and that was a mile 6 on soft ground. They bought him back in trip, and he won the Derby. He won the Irish Derby, and then he was spurred. He was only beaten 2 and a bit lengths behind Stradivarius and Naef Road. I don't know how many horses in this field would get that close to Stradivarius. I know he was getting tons and tons of weight off it. He was getting 15 pounds off him, but I still think that was a pretty solid run. Galileo Chrome is the other one. He hasn't beaten that much for me. I know he's clearly a very progressive horse. But like that Emperor of the Sun, Princess Zoe beat Emperor of the Sun at the Curragh. He performed very well that day in second, but I don't know. I'm not sold on him either. I'm not sold on Hookham either. I'm not sold on a lot of them, to be honest. The one that's there, if there was going to be a little shock, you've completely got to forget about his last run. But his Dawn Patrol, in the Irish Derby, he was staying on really, really well behind Santiago and finished third. Then went back down and trip to win a maiden. It's definitely up in trip that this lad wants. He was disappointing then, though, at Leopardstown in a listed race over mile 6. Pista beat him and Sunchart did as well. He still beat Emperor of the Sun, but I was very disappointed with him that day. I thought he'd kick on from there. Look, to be honest, for me, it's a no bet race, but I might take a small each way chance on Dawn Patrol.
Not what the people want to hear, Tom.
Vincent again. Kay Buckley put up a good comment there, saying if Pyledrive is good enough to run the Arc, he pisses the St. Ledger. See, that's the key that I'm saying is kind of true, but also that extra 2 furlongs is a whole other story. Because Camelot got bet by Enki in the St. Ledger, so don't forget that. And Enki was drugged up, but he still got bet. He did not stay that 1-6, and he travelled like the best horse in that race, and he was the best horse in the race. But that 2 extra furlongs is the key, and it happens every year. The real flashy horse gets bet in the St. Ledger.
It's the same in the Gold Cup.
Yeah.
Lost in translation, for example.
Yeah.
Look, the winner, jumping 2 out, died. Hit the hill and couldn't get up it.
I was just trying to come up with a jumping example, but that's exactly it, Andrew. It's like saying a horse would win the champion hurdle, then it would win, a 2.5 mile hurdle. We've seen champion hurdlers go to Aintree over 2.5 miles and completely flatten them, And it's going to be run, Dave, as you said, as well. It's going to be run at a good pace. It normally is. It's on good ground. So you imagine they're just going to skip away on it. And
come here. Subjectivists will just go from the front and go bonkers from the start. So you know what I mean?
Right, on him, they wouldn't want to give him too much opening at all.
No, he'll stay galloping as well. I don't know. There's just a few of them just have question marks. And the one we haven't mentioned, lads, is the Derby favourite, English King.
Stop now, will you? Stop.
Remove.
I'm not putting him up. I'm just saying we haven't even mentioned him,
He's failed to do anything.
They're clutching at straws. He reminds me of Telecaster. Won a couple of races and then he was all hype and he's just fell apart since.
And Dave, do you know what? You're spot on there, and I reckon he could do exactly the same thing. He'll pick up a really nice Telecaster won in France last week. He'll pick up a really nice race abroad somewhere next year, I reckon, English King. But like that, I thought it at the time that Berkshire Rocco form in the Derby trial was muck. Berkshire Rocco is and below a Grade 1 horse. I know he's running the weekend, but yeah, I don't know. I'd throw Dawn Patrol in there each way, but that's grasping, I think, as well.
Right, we wrap up this. I am very keen on Galileo Chrome. Dave?
Galileo Chrome.
And Tom is?
I have Dawn Patrol each way, yeah.
Okay. Next, we move to Leopardstown. 410, the Irish Champion Stakes. So, we have we have the 10 minute of flat run again today, lads. Dave, please tell me he's going to win.
Look, he's the most likely winner, but I can't. I just love Magical. She's one of my favourite horses, and I couldn't call her a cliff horse because she wins loads, and she won me loads of money last year, winning the Irish champion and the English champion. But I think the bet here is the forecast.
Yeah.
I think it'll be Magical and Ghaiyyath. Most likely Ghaiyyath. He's beaten her already, so it would be hard to turn that form around. But I don't know. Aidan still thinks that there's more to her that she hasn't shown on the track. So I'd probably back Magical to win and the forecast. And it's interesting to bring a Sotsas over. I liked him last year, but he's kind of fallen apart. But if this race has actually turned up some strange winners throughout the years. Decorated Night won it a couple of years ago. Hell. Leopardstown is a bit mad if you go too fast at the start. The closers can
it's a
Stephen, yeah. So I wouldn't be surprised if something mad happens and maybe Sotsas came back to form. But the most likely winner is Ghaiyyath and the forecast for me.
Ghaiyyath's going to win this. He won the German by 3 lengths. Ease down against Magical. Who does that? He's an absolute freak. They're not going to get near him. He's going to go off in the front. He'll kick turn from home and he'll be gone. Tom, what do you think? That's all I have to say. I all over Ghaiyyath. I do the forecast. I think the forecast is definitely going to be Ghaiyyath, Magical 1-2, and you're going to get something flying from the back to pick up the places.
Yeah, look, I mean, I like Ghaiyyath. I think he's by far and away the most likely winner of this. He's looked a beast this year, hasn't he? And yeah, look, I can see him win. I imagine he'll win. It'd be interesting. There's loads of O'Brien horses entered in there. I wonder if they'll sit something on his girth.
What's going to be able to sit with him?
I was just thinking that.
Nothing. They might do it for 2 or 3 furlongs and they'll drop away because they won't be able to keep up with him. It'd be like trying to take on Goshen over the jumps.
Look,
you can't keep up with him.
He is the most likely winner, but there has been some strange. This meeting throws up the odd strange results, so don't be surprised that if he does get beaten, and don't be surprised if he gets beaten and it's not by Magical, it's by something that's a big price.
Yeah, I wouldn't be surprised at that either. The tactics here will be very, very interesting. Lord North has been very good this year. He was put in his place by Ghaiyyath though at York. Sotsas, yeah, Dave. Sotsas is the one for me. It just would not surprise me if he went and won this.
I knew you were going to call Sotsas. I had a mad feeling you were going to put him up.
Lots of point horses.
Yeah, he's been disappointing this year. Some of Rouget's have, to be honest, but I just think, like Dave, something could spring up a mad shock here. We know all about Magical. I think we know all about Ghaiyyath now. Again, look, without being boring, it's probably a no bet race. But yeah, I could see Sotsas running into a place anyway.
I think the gloss has gone off him altogether. And just looking at the graphics rolling across there, Japan 8-1. Give me 80-1, and I still wouldn't back him. He is the most overrated horse on the flat. He's just a big fat pig. Just can't have him whatsoever.
Yeah, I loved him last year. He's really disappointed me this year. He just hasn't gone on. I really thought
he's lost. Fat brother.
Right, so to top this up, Dave?
Magical, but the forecast.
Tom?
Yeah, Ghaiyyath, the most likely winner, obviously. I'll Sotsas each way.
For me, Ghaiyyath wins, and the forecast Ghaiyyath Magical is the bet that I'll be doing. So next we'll turn to sprinting and the Group 1 Flying 5 Stakes. It's not a bad old field. There's a few horses that have Clatter Farm with each other. We have Mega Challenge.
Put that bottom comment up for a second, will you? Are you? No. Nat, for those of you who don't know, I think most of you know, Nat is literally my best mate. He's my best man at my wedding. We used to live together and be housemates. He'll enjoy that one.
Horse racing friends. Yeah, this looks to be a good little race. Tom, what you make of it? Who do you think will win?
We've moved on to what? Sorry, the Boomerang Stakes.
The Boomerang Stakes. Oh, sorry, my bad. I knew I did this. Right, talk away and get the graphics. I put it down here by mistake. Boomerang Stakes. Sorry,
the Boomerang Stakes. Yeah,
my bad.
An interesting race and one that, again, a bit like Dawn Patrol. You've completely got to kind of forget his last run. Is Vatican City. He knocked into himself. He ended up. I read the comment there. There's one bit of this that I don't like, and this is why I won't bet on him. But Jockey said Colt was struck into. Vet said Colt had an irregular heartbeat, lost his right hind shoe, and finished lame on its right hind.
So dead then.
In other words, he's shit,
and he nearly.
You know what I mean? Like 3 excuses instead of saying he's crap.
I know he's not crap, but you know, I fancied him for the Derby. I put him up each way for that. He'd run well in the Irish Guineas. He'd been an eye catcher for me in that race. And if you can forget about that, obviously things didn't go right for him. It's not so much forgetting about it. It's if he's come back from that, then I think he's very interesting in this race. He's also in the Champions Stakes, which is interesting, and he's in the QE2 at Ascot, and he's in the British Champions Stakes. So I know they keep a lot of them in, but they've kept him in pretty much everything. So I still think he's a colt with a lot of promise. So yeah, he's probably my pick for this.
Well, I hope to God they have a horse defibrillator on that ambulance for him. Gee, I think this is going to be near impossible. Century's Dream. Oh, I was so impressed with him last time. He was 4.5 lengths winner in the Celebration of Moyne at Goodwood, beating Sir Busker. He was eased down. And then you go to this race before that, he was 5th behind the Freedom Lamb winner, Parisian King, which was Persian King. I have wrote down in front of me, still can't.
Sure, look, you're never going to get
I got wait for the jumps where I can actually have normal horses. I think he is going to take the world of beating. His form is stacking up. He's 2 from 3 this season. If he comes over, he'd probably be favourite, but I would find it hard for something to beat him.
He's been very good this year, in fairness to him. I didn't like him last year at all, but he's been very good this year. Going up a bit more.
Look at that comments.
Thanks, Craig.
I'd be all over Century Dream as long as there's soft in the description of the going. Some sort of good to soft or soft. I think he would win if he comes across. He's definitely progressed this year. As a 5 or 6 year old, whatever he is, he's got better. So
see, that's what I was looking for, guys. Is something that he is progressing in fairness to him. But that's why I looked at some of the free roads, because some of the older horses in this are glorified handicappers, really. And I just wanted to take them on with something. The other one is bloody Royal Dornoch. If the tongue tie has worked oracles on him, I
would have said Royal Dornoch as well, Tom. But I'd have to think Century Dream is a better horse than Royal Dornoch, so that's why I sided with Royal Dornoch or Century Dream.
He probably is, Dave. To be honest, Yeah, he probably is. Royal Dornoch's form is ridiculous. He's 2 absolutely horrific runs this year. And then he's gone and had a tongue tie put on him and won a Group 3 last time. So
I stuck with him that week, sure.
About 2 million runs.
He won a 12-1, sure.
Oh, yeah, you're making this very complicated. Century Dream wins it.
Yeah, I know. He needs soft ground, though.
Right.
Harry's comment about you two being joint best men so you can preach about value is class.
Oh, you have no idea what we're going to turn up
in. About good. Shit. I said I won't mention him.
Yeah, you owe me points.
Oh, keep going.
Make good.
No. He's still
he'll win next time, won't he, lads?
No, the money was down. He still got best. Stop making excuses.
The owner got on this time.
Move on.
He did. Oh, he got on big time.
And he lost a shitload then.
No run. Poor thing.
Right. Now we're back on track. The Group 1 Flying 5, obviously over 5 furlongs. I'm not even going to repeat myself. Well, I will. This looks like a very, very competitive Group 1 sprint. There's 2 I like. But, Dave, I have a feeling I know who you're going to put up.
What?
I just have a feel. This is your horse.
Nah, no.
Who?
No, he had his chance. Glass Slippers.
What?
Yeah.
Will you stop now?
Absolutely.
No, he won't.
I think it's a she anyway. To be honest.
We just go.
Glass Slippers for me. I've said it a few times in the podcast here. The English sprinters are better than the Irish sprinters. There's no if or buts or maybes about it. They are.
Yeah.
Make a challenge. He mops up the Irish races, goes into bigger races or better standard races, and he hasn't performed once or twice. The same with what's the horse that other than a Southern horse that sadly passed away? Skeptical. He looked like a machine in Ireland, went to England, got beat by Hello Yumsen, who's not an absolutely superstar sprinter either. But the English sprinters are just better. They whatever way the races are run in England, they seem to catch out Irish horses. And there's a good few English horses in this race. But Glass Slippers for me, in her last 5 or 6 runs, the only bad run she had was at Ascot. And some horses don't act at Ascot. She came back to form the last day at Goodwood against Batash, beating 2 lengths. You know, Batash is unbelievable at Goodwood, so I think he broke the track record that day as well. That's nothing to be ashamed of. And she's won a Grade 1 last year around this time of year. She won the Abbey last year in France, so she'll do for me.
I am shocked you didn't put up Al Ali.
Nah, he had his chance the last day.
But he always chose in a kind of bad enough race. He's a course and distance winner. He beat Make a Challenge.
And he's a
decent, and he was 3.5 lengths behind Batash, where he was kind of away from the pace. I think this is the first time I'm ever going to back him, and he'd probably lose, but I really like him today. Q Amoro finished front from that day, but I think he'll be worse.
You know what it is? It's only £2, but like he's a 3-year-old giving away £2 to Glass Slippers because she's a filly, and she's a 4-year-old, so she's stronger as a 4-year-old and has already won a Group 1. So like that £2 is a big thing in 5 furlong sprints.
Is it though?
It is.
Yeah.
So it's not £2.
That's why I equate to it as a bad length. This is a race. If the prices are as they are, I'll be having a bet in this, and it'll be laying Make Challenge. I agree with Dave on him. Unlike you, I'm struggling to find something to beat him. As in, I'm struggling to pick which one. But he wins listed races for fun in Ireland, right? His only runs outside of in better races and listed races, he was beaten by Ali in a Group 2 in Ireland, which had 7 runners in it. He was beaten a Group 2 at the Curragh this year, and he was beaten at Ascot behind Don Juan Triumphant, who is, there was a few okay horses in that, but that was a below par grade Group 1 for me. I just think there's a whole rake of them in here, is my point, that could beat Glass Slippers, Q Amoro, Ali, Liberty Beach, Equilateral, even though he's most of a straight horse in the world, or Keep Busy even. I just think any of those could beat him, and I'm happy, very happy to take him on. It just shows, though, doesn't it? Like we were saying about the Irish sprinters, and there's Make Challenges the top of the market, and then the next 6 in the betting are all English sprinters. So,
we're not the best at training sprinters, as we fair about.
It's just, I just think we breed as well more middle distance horses over here. We just end up with more middle distance bred horses.
Okay. But
I just give a shout out to we're not English, we're Scouse. I'm looking for a jumps horse. I've looked at every claimer in France for the last 6 weeks. It's doing my head in, but we will find a jumps horse for the syndicate. But I want to find the right one. That's why it's taken forever. But
all we want is a honeysuckle. There's no pressure.
See, Honeysuckle's full brother was running today at Uttoxeter.
Yeah.
Obviously, I didn't see it.
Second.
Finished second, did he?
Yeah.
No good.
Yeah, walked through the second last.
Robbie, take it back very quickly. You dare talk about the king like that. Right, sum this up. Dave.
Gas slippers.
Tom.
Lay make a challenge.
I'm taking a chance on Al-Ali. Right, we will move on to the Curragh Group 1 Moyglare Stakes. Stakes.
Moyglare Stud Stakes.
Over 7 furlongs. This is not the most inspiring race for me. But Tom, you make the sound spectacular. Now, come on.
You see, I've been downbeat about every race so far, basically. But this is where I start to pick it up a bit. I really like this filly. I know she's even money, but I really, really like her. Pretty gorgeous. And I loved her performance last time, but I loved her when I saw her walk back into the parade ring. She's an absolutely beautiful looking horse. And I just think she could be very special. And then when you go through the race as well, what's against her? She's beaten Shale and Mother Earth. Auntie Bridie is 10-1 and has got to improve stacks for me, as has Teresa Mendoza and Funda Beauty. And I just think if there's a freak in here that is a very good horse, and if there's one that's going to go and win by 2 or 3 lengths over the weekend, it could be her, I think.
Yeah, I agree with her. I was really impressed. I was impressed with her maiden win at Battleground or somewhere like that. She was beat by Shale, who opposed it again today in our second round, but then she turned the form around the last time, which she was very impressive that day. But do I want to back a 2-year-old at even money in the Group 1? No, I don't. But I think she's the most likely, if going on what I've seen, she's probably the most likely winner. But I'll take a chance on Teresa Mendoza on the fact that she didn't like the heavy ground last time. She was punted off the boards. They really like her. And I think 10-1 each way, it's not bad when you take Pretty Gorgeous. It's probably going to win. You're fighting for 2 places. It's a 2-year-old race. I don't like them at all. So Teresa Mendoza is who I fell on and whose I will stick with.
For me, there's not a big issue like with 2-year-old races, but
there is. Jesus Christ.
fillies 2-year-old graded races are difficult to figure out. They tend to take turns in winning. They're growing at different speeds, so it never, like even money on Pretty Gorgeous, although she looked the best horse the last day, and I think it was the Betopin Stakes. It would not surprise me in the slightest if Shale turned that form around back again. The Betopin Stakes last year, Love was beaten and then ended up winning this and then got beat in the Fillies Mile. So it wouldn't surprise me if Pretty Gorgeous doesn't win today or not today, Saturday. Maybe Joseph sends her to the Fillies Mile or Cheveley Park and she wins there. The Colts hold their form a little bit better than the Fillies at this time of year, and then kind of the fillies progress on as 3-year-olds and can hold their form a bit better then from run to run. So it wouldn't surprise me if Shale turns the form around and I'll go for her. I think Donnacha's obviously going to be a right good trainer, but I think he's a decent 2-year-old in Shale.
Yeah, even on that though, they've beaten each other twice. So
yeah,
even it's 1-1. Even though he did turn the form around, if you just take that on a cloud of form alone, 7-2 it's quite tempting to take a chance that he came on a bad day. Like there was no excuses for Pretty Gorgeous when she got beat from Shale. She travelled, she was in the right places. Shale came off the bridle first, but he hit the line better than Pretty Gorgeous did. If she takes a step forward again, there's all she could turn the form around again. So that's a fair point. But
I just think there with that first run, like she won her maiden so easily. And like Joseph's they don't do a lot at home, as in they're not going to have the brains galloped off of them. And I think it may be, and especially on good ground and back down in trip to 7 furlongs, I think it just took her a bit of time to get to know what to do when she quickened. And I think we saw her come on for that the next day then as debutante stakes on a bit of softer ground over 7 furlongs. I think she'll get away with it here on yielding ground. And I'm pretty confident she'll keep the form the way it is with Shale. And that was kind of my angle on the race. Like I think she'll beat Shale and Mother Earth, and after that I don't think there's much will beat her. So
that'd be interesting to see anyway what happens. Right, wrap up.
Shale,
Tom,
Pretty Gorgeous,
and I am 3Z Mendoza each way at 10-1. We will move on to the Group 1 Vincent O'Brien Stakes over 7 furlongs. Quite a good field. I have a price wrong there. I'll fix it in a minute. Master of Sea is meant to be 5-2, not 5-1. This looks a good matchup between the favourite and second favourite, and even throwing Lucky Vega, who's beaten the favourite already. Dave, I'm full sure you are very strong on one of these.
Oh yeah, I'm all over Battleground. A good race. Master of the Sea is a good horse. They look good at the 2 races at Newmarket, and they both have form through Devious Company, who kind of lost the plot in the last race, but I think they ran him too quickly in that sales race up at Nace or wherever it was. Similar distances that they bet him by, but I think Battleground, to be honest, just is kind of lazy. I think he's full short to be Aiden's best 2-year-old, and he hasn't produced a whole lot of good ones this year. But I think he's very like his mother. He's just going to keep running well in top races. She came second a lot of times, and he might do her a favour and come first a lot of times. That sounded really wrong, to be honest. And I just realised I said what I said.
Second you said, I was like, where's this going?
What can you do? It's out there now. But Battleground for me, all in.
Oh, all in?
Yeah, he's my that.
Oh, yes. I agree. I think he is a lazy little so-and-so. I think he just goes through the motions, gets his job done, and wins. He's a big, burly 2-year-old, and I think whatever he does, I hate this saying, whatever he does now, he's going to be better next year first.
Yeah, he's a big unit, all right.
But saying that Master of Sea is a good
horse.
Is a very good horse. Lucky Vega's improved again. Tom, what do you think?
I'm actually going against you here, lads. I'm with Master of the Seas. I've been very, very impressed with him. On debut, I thought he was good. And then the next day at Newmarket in the Superlative Stakes, I thought he was even better again. He kind of really excites me, to be honest. He's by Dubawi. His dam was...
I'm excited.
What's the pessimism coming out in this?
What's the downside?
What's the downside?
You're so funny. There is no downside. For heck's sake. You had me worrying then. I was like, what's going on? The dam.
He's gone.
I'm gone. Yeah, the dam was pretty good herself. She was second in Grade 1 at Longchamp.
Sorry,
But
Tom.
the half brother, his half brother anyway, is called Lafarnack. Was second to Glen Eagles in the St James's Palace Stakes. So look, the pedigree is all there for this lad. It's no surprise he's very good. And I think he's pretty exciting, really. It's going to be some race though if the three of those turn up, because they're all really, really good horses.
Yeah, I'm really looking forward to it. Especially
Dave is just throwing up the form of the best maiden running Ireland this year.
You're still only 4 points.
I am gutted. I'm absolutely disgusted.
He still ain't entered up anywhere, and he won't run till Dundalk. I told you.
I think he should come out for Arc again when we're going out. And
Brian is coming.
the Brian's coming.
Yeah, that's Brian. Yeah.
Oh, the finish line.
We're going out for the Arc, Tom.
You coming?
Thanks for the invite, lads.
We just asked you. This is the plan.
Where are you going for the Arc?
We're going to Alfie's. We're going to book the table, because we can only have 6 people.
Yeah, I'll come along to that.
Good, perfect.
But yeah, no, that Benevente, lads, is the horse we're going on about. For you, those of you who don't know, finished 7th in that maiden, hasn't been seen since.
November 14th.
Over 6 furlongs. 7.
It was some race though, but anyway, yeah, I like Master of the Seas for this. I'm quite sweet on him.
Dave?
Battleground. Nah.
I'm on Battleground as well, but I wouldn't be as strong as Dave. But yeah, on to our final race. The Irish equivalent of the St. Leger, which is just a joke the way it's done. But anyway. Group 1 St. Leger, Irish St. Leger, should I say. The final classic of the Irish season, if I'm not mistaken.
It is?
It is, yeah. This is not original. I think Twilight Payment is going to be impossible to beat this. He was 6th in it last year. Last year was run weird. They let Serge Song go out like 20 miles clear. And Anthony Van Dyke was running on the end. But he's looked... The hell was that?
That was another podcast that I have on here on YouTube that I was just Xing the screen, and it just came up. The Good, the Bad, and the Rugby.
That's great.
Payne and Haskell's podcast. It's it's really good. Yeah.
Mental bastards. Right. I think Twilight Payment's going to be very hard to beat in this. He holds Master Reality by 8 lengths already. There was 7 lengths back to the 3rd in that race, and there was a further 9 back to the 4th. I think he's at the turn of leaf for Joseph O'Brien since he moved from Jim Bulger. Kevin Bulger. Kevin Bulger. I get there in the end.
Kevin Bulger.
So, for Jim Bulger, I think he's going to be impossible to beat, and I'll keep it short and sweet. He'll win, and I think Micromanage will follow him home. I think he did way too much on his comeback, and he still only managed to be beaten 2.5 lengths by an informed Delphi. So yeah, I think Twilight Payment for the win, and Micromanage to follow him home.
Can we please buy a horse and name it Kevin Bulger and send it to Jim Bulger?
Send it to Jim Bulger and get Kevin Manning to ride it.
I just thought, you're welcome.
It's too much wine, Andrew.
Can we name the jump horse that?
Name the jump horse that? No, we're going to get a race jump horse that's ready to go and ready to rock and win.
Fujairah Prince for me. Simple. Easy.
Really?
Yeah.
I want him.
You're never impressed by him.
No, do you know what it is with him? I'll tell you what it is. He travelled like the best horse throughout the whole Ebor. He got to the front and he went past the second horse. He didn't go away from him.
Yeah, but he's lazy.
Hey, geez, he only won by what? What did he win by? Half a length. He needs to step up big time again.
Fujairah Prince. That's why I pay him. A yak.
You're a yak.
Go on, Tom.
There's one here. I put it up on Twitter there a while ago because he was meant to be running in the Doncaster Cup, but he's not declared for that. The only entry he has for this weekend is here. And if he runs and if he's 16 to 1, I am going to have a proper bet on him. It's Naef Road. if we knew he was going to turn up here, and he obviously won't be 16-1 if he gets declared, but if we knew their intention was to run, like, he's got some proper form in behind Stradivarius. The likes of these just don't have that form. I'm nearly tempted to back him just in case he does run, but I scoured the internet for a quote, but I can't find one. But if he runs here, lads, or if you find out he's running here, get the lot on at 16-1.
And it is a very decent price, but that's kind of scary off that he is that big. Would that mean he's probably not running?
Yeah,
probably. It's annoying. It's not on the market. Isn't on Betfair. That normally gives you a good gauge as to if they are going to run or not. So yeah, I just don't know. I can't find anything on the internet. Everything said he was going to run at Doncaster. Now he's not. So
that was very short. Right. So to sum up, I think Toilet Payment will be very hard to beat, and I think Micromanage will run very well at 8-1.
Who's your Prince?
And Nayef Road if he runs.
Right, guys. So that is our preview done. So now we will just move on to our naps and next best. Dave, take us through your two.
My nap is Battleground, as I already said. My next best runs on Saturday in a race we didn't cover at the Champagne Stakes at Doncaster. It's Chinded. Richard Hannon horse. He won a race at Ascot a few weeks back. The second has come out and won. The fourth has come out and won a listed race. The fifth and sixth have won a listed race and another race. I think it's very strong form. And he also has a horse running tomorrow in the May Hill Stakes called Zabeel Queen. The Atzini colours, the Fujairah Prince colours. She'll win as well.
Very good. And Tom, take us through your ones.
My ones are, my nap runs in the Matron Stakes on Saturday at Leopardstown, and it's Peaceful. I think I still don't know how she didn't beat Fancy Blue in the Prix de Diane at Longchamp. I just don't know. Shamey just seemed to put his stick down. He got done for a suspension earlier in the day. Maybe that was it, but he just seemed to stop riding her, basically. I think she should have won that day. She'd hammered Fancy Blue the time before that. Really, it still remains a really exciting horse. She's coming off a 69-day break now. She comes into this fresh. And I am very, very strong on her. She's definitely my bet of the weekend. At 9-4, I could see her going off a little bit short than that, definitely. And my next best is going to be Master of the Seas. So that's going to be a really good race, but I do really like that horse. I think he's one to keep on the right side of.
So my nap is Galileo Chrome. As I said earlier, I don't think he'll have a problem stepping up into Group 1 company. He has a class. He has stamina. Stamina wins the St. Leger every year, and I think he will be very hard to beat. My next best is Century Dream, who also runs at Leopardstown on Saturday. If he turns up, I think he'll be virtually impossible to beat. His form is on the improve all the time this year. And yeah, if he turns up, I think he will be extremely hard to beat.
It's nuts that when all this COVID stuff started and lockdown came in and we didn't get to go to Punchestown, we organised the trip to go to this Saturday
we did, didn't we?
Irish Champions weekend. And we're not going to that either.
Do you remember when we tried to book that? And the guy was like, "Oh, we won't take a deposit because we don't know what's happening."
Yeah, that was 6 months ago, like.
Dare we try the festival?
But sure, look, at least it's on TV.
There's not a chance we're going to be at the Dublin Racing Festival.
No way. No.
We'd be lucky to get to Punchestown, I'd say.
Yeah.
Right.
Cheltenham will be a fucking write-off.
It'll be owners and trainers and all that kind of stuff. I won't be like.
I'm gonna have you two at my wedding and nobody else, I reckon, at this stage.
Sure, it's gonna be the right wedding then, isn't it?
We were actually talking about that, Tom. If Princess Zoe wins on the Thursday, right?
You love this.
I'm wearing a yellow shirt and a purple suit.
No, you're wearing a yellow suit.
A yellow suit and a purple shirt, and he's wearing a purple suit and a yellow shirt.
Yeah.
And
Brilliant.
Top hat and cane.
That will be epic. If she wins, you've got to do that.
If she wins, we genuinely will do it.
Sweet. Siobhan will love those pictures.
Oh. Don't tell her she loves the boys.
I'll be fine. I told you I've got the mother-in-law on a fiver at 50 to 1.
Yeah. Do you want to hear it? Yeah. No.
In the good book straight away.
It's great. It's just great.
Percy will lose and he'll be left all the altar the one day.
Look, come here, I tell you, I don't. If Princess Zoe wins, I couldn't care less about any other.
Yeah.
No, I couldn't care less about anything else either.
Princess Zoe wins, he's going to be skipping up the aisle.
Yeah.
Not even walking, he'll skip up the aisle.
Easy exam for the national, and we're all in.
I was presenting Percy today, Tom. I couldn't care if he's dead or not.
Is he running?
Tommy fell. Who cares? Right. So we'll wrap it up on that. So again, lads, don't forget. Wait, I'll actually put it up. Starting from this weekend, we will have our finish line betting tips email for our fancies for the weekend. So head over to betterman.com/betting tips and you'll see the big sign up bar with our logo next to it. Again, put in your email, go to your spam where the confirmation email will go to, click confirm, and then just move that to your inbox. So then all your the emails that are sent out will go straight to your inbox. There won't be any spam or any shite like that. It'll just be straight out tips and why we think they'll win. And then you can slag us when they lose. So,
can we give another shout out? When are we doing the Cheltenham show?
Which one?
We're doing a Cheltenham preview show, are we?
Jumps preview.
Jumps preview.
Oh, Jumps preview. So a Cheltenham preview.
Yeah.
Pretty much.
Cool. I've got one for Cheltenham.
What?
I've got one for Cheltenham.
Oh gosh.
Oh god.
No, I'll save it for that show, but I'm excited about it.
It's not make good.
You'll love it as well. You'll absolutely love it.
It's a lie. That's a lie. On that bombshell, we will leave you be. So, lads, thanks again for watching. If you haven't subscribed to us already, click the subscribe button so you don't miss out on any more of our content, especially coming up to the jump season, where we will have our Cheltenham Festival anti-post videos every week, and we will be tearing each other apart in them ones as we always do. So yeah, give us a subscribe, like the video, and we will see you. We'll actually see you on Sunday for a special review show of the Champions Weekend. Tom won't be here, but we have a replacement in one of our lads in the group. Dan will be with us to give us his thoughts on everything that happened during the weekend. So again, lads, thanks for watching, and we will see you again on Sunday at 8 o'clock.